Hey guys, it's me ActiveXSploit back again with a new video on the malware development series, and today's topic is going to be remote process injection. In today's video, I'll be covering what exactly remote process injection is and how we can program a POC for the same. So without any delay, let's get started. Alright, so what exactly is process injection? So process injection it's basically a technique which comprises of injecting a DLL or shellcode in a remote process instead of injecting it into a local process. Now, if you have seen my previous video on the malware development series, which was executing shellcode using Windows API, in that video, you might have noticed that we are loading the shellcode within the process. Okay, we are not injecting the shellcode in a remote process. Instead, we are actually executing the shellcode, loading the shellcode within the process. Okay, but in the process injection technique, what we do is we inject the same piece of shellcode in a different process. Okay, we inject it in a remote process instead of injecting it into a local process. Now, there are various process injection techniques such as classic DLL injection, reflective DLL injection, shellcode injection, APC code injection, and a lot. Of course, we are going to be discussing the shellcode injection technique as it is basically one of the simplest one to understand. Okay, so how exactly shellcode injection works? Okay, steps to implement shellcode injection. Now, we basically use few Windows API calls to achieve this, just like the previous video where we had used some of the Windows API calls to execute the shellcode within the process. In shellcode injection, we actually use the same. So we have two processes in here. We have the malware.exe process and we have the notepad.exe process. At first, the malware.exe process, it basically calls the open process function, and open process function basically retrieves a handle to the notepad.exe process. Okay, so it basically gets a handle to the notepad.exe process. Then we call the virtual alloc x function. So virtual alloc x function is nothing but it actually allocates memory in a remote process. Okay, so as you may have guessed, virtual alloc x function actually allocates some memory in the notepad.exe process. And then we call the write process memory. So write process memory is similar to RTL move memory, but write process memory is actually used for writing shellcode in a remote process, okay, not in the local process. So we use this API call to write our shellcode to a remote process to the notepad.exe process, okay. And then we finally call the create remote thread. So create remote thread is basically a function which creates a thread in a remote process which is going to execute our shellcode. Okay, it basically executes a specific memory region. Okay, a specific memory region where code is there. Okay, and for our purposes, we are going to use the create remote thread function to execute our shellcode, which is in the target process. Okay. All right. So now I know that this might be a bit difficult to understand at first, but trust me, it is really easy to program it. Things are going to get a lot more clear when we start to code our own POC script. Okay. So once again, if we revise the list of Win API calls which are going to be used, the first one is the open process function, which basically retrieves a handle to a remote process. And then we have the virtual alloc x function, which basically allocates memory in a remote process. And then we use the write process memory function, which basically copies buffer from a source to the destination in a remote process. And as I said in the previous slide, this function is going to simply copy our shellcode to a remote process. Okay. Um, and then we have the create remote thread function, which basically creates a thread in a remote process to execute code. A thread will be created to execute shellcode present in the target process. All right. So that's all for the theory part. Now let's get started off by the coding part. All right. So here we are with our development lab. But before starting out, please note that you have to install Visual Studio on your computer. Secondly, I have Visual Studio 2022 Community Edition, if you're just wondering about that. Um, and of course I have installed compiler tools with it. So once you have your development lab set up, we can start the coding stuff. Um, so first of all, we'll start out by including the necessary header files for our code. So we'll just say hashtag include stdio.h, which is basically the standard input output header file, and then we have the windows.h1, which basically is our Windows API. Now we can simply create a main function, and now we are going to create some variables first. So first of all, we're going to be creating handle h process. So this variable, it's basically a handle type. Now what exactly is handle? So if you remember, uh, while I was explaining in the slides, the open process function, okay, it basically is going to use this variable to store the handle which is retrieved from the target process, okay. Now this might be a bit confusing to understand, but you'll understand it when we are programming it, okay, when we move a bit further. So I'll leave a comment over here, which basically is handle to store the remote process handle, and then we'll simply say h process is equals to open process. And all right, so now first of all, in the open process function, the first parameter which we have to give out is the DW desired access. Now if you don't know what exactly what these mean, you could simply go to Microsoft documentation and see what exactly do they mean. So we could just say open process MSDN, and you can simply click on the first link over here. So I'll just go over here, and as you can see, Microsoft has actually mentioned the syntax of this function and the parameters and literally everything. So the first parameter is the DW desired access one. So if you read this, it says the access to the process object. This access right is checked against the security descriptor for the process. This parameter can be one or more of the process access rights. All right, so now over here, uh, we are going to use the process all access right. This is because we actually kind of need everything, not everything, but yeah, the necessary part of it. The next parameter is bool be inherit handle. So this is basically the second parameter, and we are going to say true for it because we need to inherit the handle. Then we have the DW process ID. So this is the part where you specify the remote process's PID, okay, the process of which you want to retrieve the handle. So we'll just leave this as it is for now. We'll actually specify the PID of the target process at the end. Now we simply create another variable called void execmem, and we could just say exec underscore mem is equals to virtual alloc x. Now this is the part where we actually allocate some memory in our remote process. So if you notice over here, it says handle h process. The first parameter of this function is the handle of the process where we want to allocate the memory. So it's basically going to be this handle, the h process handle, okay, which is basically going to be the handle of our target process where we want to allocate memory. So we'll just simply say h process, and then it asks for the LP address, the address where we want to allocate. We'll actually just say null. We'll let Windows decide where to allocate memory. And then we have the DW size parameter, which is basically the size of the memory allocation. For now, we'll actually leave this as it is. When we generate the shellcode at last, we'll replace the size of the shellcode over here, okay. And then we have the FL allocation type. So FL allocation type, we are going to be allocating it as mem underscore commit, mem underscore reserve. And finally, we have the FL protect one. So it's basically the protection type which we have to give to this specific memory location. So it's basically going to be page execute read write. And now what we'll do is we'll simply call the write process memory function. And in here, as you can see, the first parameter is also h process, so we'll replace it with the handle of the remote process. And then it asks for the LP base address. In this case, the base address is going to be the exec mem1. So write process memory, this particular function is basically going to allocate, not allocate, but actually copy the buffer in this is in this memory region. Okay, so we are simply going to say exec underscore mem. And then we have the LP buffer one. So the buffer is the shellcode which we are going to simply copy. So what I'll do is I'll actually just go in here, and first of all I'll say char shellcode, and I'll leave this as it is for now. And then we can simply say shellcode in here, and then it asks for the size of the buffer which we want to allocate. So we'll simply say size of shellcode. Over here too, we'll say the same size of shellcode. Oops, sorry for that. And once again, the last argument is a pointer type, which is number of bytes returned. We'll actually let this stay null. And finally, we have to call the create remote thread function. But first of all, what I'll do is I'll actually also create another handle type variable called hthread. And now what we'll do is we'll simply say hthread is equals to create remote thread. As you can see, the first parameter over here is also the same as the write process memory function and the virtual alloc function. So over here also we'll just simply say h process, which is basically going to be the handle of our remote process of the target process. We'll let the LP security attributes as null, and then we have the stack size. We'll also let this stay null, or we could say 0. Um, and then we have the LP thread start routine, LP start address. So what we'll do is we'll just say uh, in between of brackets LP thread start routine. And over here we'll specify the region which we want to execute. Okay, like where we want to create a thread and where we want to execute that thread. So it's basically going to be the exec underscore mem region. So we'll just say exec underscore mem. We specified exec underscore mem function because of course this is where our shellcode is, and we want the create remote thread function to create a thread which is going to execute the shellcode present in this memory allocation. Okay, and finally we have the um, LP parameter one. I'll just let this stay null. We have the DW creation flags. I'll let this stay 0. And then we have the LP thread ID. This is also going to stay 0. Okay. All right. So our code is done. But first of all, before wrapping up, we have to close up the handle of the target process handle. Okay. We have to close the process handle. And then we simply return an integer value. And finally, the code is done. Uh, but now for demonstration processes, what I'll be doing is I'll actually open up a notepad .exe process, and I'll basically inject the shellcode inside of that process. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll simply start up notepad first, and then I'll start process hacker 2, and over here we'll simply type notepad.exe, and there we go, we have the notepad.exe process in here. I'm sorry if this is a bit small for you. I'll actually see if there's anything I can find, or you know what, I'll actually zoom this while I'm editing the video. So we see that the PID of the notepad.exe process is 2828, so we'll simply copy that up and type it up over here, 2828. And finally, the last step is to generate a shellcode. So what we'll do is we'll simply go to our Kali machine, and uh, I'll actually increase the terminal font size, and then we'll simply say msf venom -p Windows x64 shell reverse TCP. If you don't want to use this payload, you could also use the interpreter reverse TCP. Okay, but for today's video, we're gonna be using the shell reverse TCP one, and then we can specify the L host, which is 192.168.56.101 in my case. In order to know your IP address, you could simply open up a new terminal, run the ifconfig command, and as you can see, I have my IP address as 192.168.56.101. Okay, and then we finally specify the port where we want the reverse shell to connect. So it's going to be 4444, and the format which we want the payload in is basically going to be C format. Okay, and we'll wait for this to generate the shellcode. And there we are. So what I'll do is I'll simply copy this up till here. I click on copy, I'll go back to Visual Studio, and I'll simply paste it up over here. I'll actually make this a bit readable for us, and I'll actually indent this up, and there we go. Alright, so the code looks fine. Now what we have to do is we have to simply compile this up. So what we'll do is we'll simply go to our native tools command prompt for Visual Studio, and then we can simply say cl/tc, and we simply now type the file name, which is proc.inj.cpp in our case. And as you can see, this compiles successfully, and we have two files. We have the proc.inj.exe, and we have the obj file for that. So now, before actually starting this up, what we'll do is we'll simply go back over here in our Kali machine, and we'll listen for incoming connections on port 4444. And now we'll simply run our file. So when I run this, as you can see, we have a reverse shell over here. And if you go to process hacker and click on the notepad.exe process, and I'll just bring this up over here. And if you actually go to memory, okay, and I'll make this a little bit big for you. And then and then if you click on the protection filter, and if you search for something which is RWX in here, which is read, write, and execute, and if you simply open this up, I'll bring this up over here, you'll find that we have the shellcode in here. Okay, the shellcode which we used, which in the source code. As you can see, the first byte is FC, second is 48, then we have 83 E4, and if you actually compare this with the shellcode in here, as you can see, that is the same. It is FC 4883 E4. So in short, we have successfully injected our shellcode in the notepad.exe process. So that's what this is. Process injection is something like this. And now if we go back to our reverse shell, we can run any Windows command we want. So I can simply run whoami, or I can run whoami/priv, and so on. Okay. So that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I also apologize for not being active on YouTube. But from now onwards, I'll be uploading videos every Sunday. So that's all. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, and goodbye.